Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers DUIs, sobriety tests, and police duties and comes to us from Gene Marco's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Let's dive right in and audit the interaction. On October 1st, 2019, Cape Coral resident Natalia Rosetts was about to leave her doctor's office when she was stopped by a civilian officer of the Cape Coral Police Department in Cape Coral, Florida. The civilian officer called for backup after employees and patrons from the doctor's office voiced their concerns about whether or not Miss Rosetts was intoxicated. Officer Maduro then arrives on the scene to conduct an investigation.
Put the car in park for me.
What?
Put the car in park. You're not free to leave yet.
Listen, I have to appointment.
Okay, well, you're not free to
Listen,
leave yet.
I
Ma'am,
don't
I'm going to tell you, put the car in park, please.
Listen to this. This car, how I say, I make damage.
I'll listen to what you have to say, but put the car in park first.
To stay here, and I want to see what's the damage because I'm not damaged by it.
Okay, put the car in park so we can talk. You're not free to leave.
How long?
Until I feel that you're ready to go. Put the car in park. Ma'am, put the car in park. It's in neutral. Put the car in park. Put the car in park. Turn the car off and step out here.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration mandates that all officers undergo a DWI detection and standardized field sobriety test training course. Officers are expected to stay up to date on the most recent standards and practices associated with DWI detection and testing, and often attend mandatory courses and certification programs to ensure that they follow the correct protocol when dealing with a possible DWI encounter. The official NHTSA training program consists of a three-phase outline for determining the sobriety of a driver. Phase 1 of the program consists of initial observations of the vehicle in motion. Officers are trained to identify erratic or suspicious driving patterns which may indicate that the driver is impaired. Phase 2 is the personal contact phase after the vehicle has been stopped. Officers are trained to conduct a face-to-face observation and interview of the driver to determine their level of sobriety. Phase 3 is the pre-arrest screening and involves the implementation of one or more field sobriety tests, which we will discuss later in this video. These three phases are not interdependent, and officers may choose to employ them in any order and even skip certain phases at their discretion. Ms. Rosetts' failure to reasonably respond to Officer Maduro's orders and seemingly confused body language have satisfied the investigatory intent of Phase 2 of the NHTSA program, and Officer Maduro asks Ms. Rosetts to step out of the vehicle for further investigation.
Turn the car off and step out. Step out here. Leave your stuff there.
Unbelievable. This woman.
Okay, we're going to talk. I just got here, so I need you to explain to me what happened.
Nothing happened because damage I have 5 months ago. That's it. No more damage. But this woman or man, I don't know, lift is supposed to be stay here. If she has accident, she is supposed to be stay. And I want to see what damage I have.
The officers were originally called to the scene because a bystander had allegedly witnessed Miss Rosetts hit a parked car as she pulled into the parking lot, but the victim of the accident did not remain on the scene and was not the one who called. Miss Rosetts is asking to see the damage she is accused of causing and questioning why the victim did not remain at the scene if their vehicle sustained damage.
Okay, from what I understand, the vehicle that you hit was unoccupied. They didn't know that there was damage to their vehicle, which is why he's here to do a report. Okay?
How long? You know, I have an appointment.
Okay. So you were in an accident, correct?
No. I don't
Okay, well,
have
there's witnesses saying they saw you hit a parked vehicle.
I park here. I park here.
Okay.
Where is damage?
Where's the damage to your vehicle? Mike, the wheel witness is still here.
Actually, no. He worked here. He was getting off. I have his information.
Okay.
5 months ago, damage, somebody hit me. Not me.
Is this the damage from the...
Yeah.
That's the damage. She says it was old damage. I didn't see
This
the
is
other
very
car.
old
It was a Nissan
damage.
Rogue. Had some minor damage on it from what
I
the
was
witness said.
hospital.
But he's
after
reporting
it.
that.
And
He's
this is
reporting.
not
I guess he was
fixed.
leaving for work, and he saw leaving from work. He saw the whole thing happen.
Okay. But you have his phone number and all that?
I have it.
Okay. So you don't know that you got in an accident?
No, never. Sorry, 6 years I drive car, never. Accident, never have. Ticket, never have. Everything.
Okay.
And this is damage at not.
What's your first name?
Natasha.
Natasha? Okay. Let me ask you some silly questions, okay? What year is it right now?
Where I am?
What year?
Now,
Correct.
2019.
Okay, and what city are we in?
People,
Last silly question, who's the president?
President Trump.
Okay. Do you take any medications that you're not supposed to drive with?
No.
No. Do you take any medications at all?
No.
Nothing. Okay. Do you have trouble standing?
Standing?
Standing, yeah, because you're leaning against your car. I'm just wondering if you have some kind of impairment,
No.
physical limitation that will prevent you from...
I have surgery. I broke my legs.
Okay.
But I can't stay normal. Stay normal, walk normal.
Okay.
I don't have
Have you drank any alcohol today?
alcohol.
Alcohol, yeah.
Never.
Liquor, beer, anything?
Never.
Never. Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing. We're done with the crash. Are you done with the crash investigation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give them information on my IR with her information. I don't know the other person's information, only a name. And then I told them the
410-4K. Can I get another code 10?
the supervisor there can give it to her, so she can go to the station and get her information to make a report.
Okay. All right. So, before we go anywhere, the crash investigation is complete, okay?
Okay.
My-
Can I move?
No,
Why?
not yet. I'm trying to explain that to you if you give me an opportunity to, okay?
I late for my doctor.
Okay. And I'm sorry to hear that, but we're not finished here. Ma'am, come here. I'm not done with you. So, at this point, like I said, the crash investigation is complete, okay? I'm showing some indicators that you might not be safe to drive.
I safe. Drive.
Okay, well,
Very safe.
we're here for a reason, okay? You were in an accident. You're not able to stand up. You didn't
I
put the
have
car in park. When I asked you to put the car in park, you reached up to turn the windshield wipers on, okay? So now I'm going to make sure that you're safe to drive,
I safe.
okay? Stand back there for me. On the concrete here. Step back here. Stand right here. And face this way towards me. Alright, a couple of questions for you. Are you sick or injured today?
No.
Do you have any physical limitations?
No.
Nothing that would prevent you from standing on one leg? Are you diabetic or epileptic? Are you taking any medications or drugs? Have you suffered any head trauma?
No.
Okay.
I have mammography here and I have my appointment legs.
Okay, I'll try and get you out of here as soon as I can, okay? Turn and face me, okay? I want you to stand with your feet together like this. Put your hands at your side. Put your feet together. Both of them together. Make sure they touch. Touch your feet. Perfect. You see my pen here?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to look at my pen. All right? I want you to follow my pen with your eyes and your eyes only, keeping your head
Okay.
looking forward. You understand?
Understand.
Okay.
For many years, law enforcement officers have utilized field sobriety tests to determine the impairment of a person's driving due to the influence of alcohol. Field sobriety tests are used by officers to both develop probable cause for an arrest and to use as evidence in court. Throughout the years, a wide variety of sobriety tests were used by various departments, and in the early 1970s, it was determined that a battery of standardized and scientifically valid tests were needed. Beginning in late 1975, extensive scientific studies were sponsored by the NHTSA to determine which roadside field sobriety tests were the most accurate. The research team traveled to law enforcement agencies throughout the United States, and after thorough laboratory testing, 3 tests were determined to be highly accurate and reliable for distinguishing a blood alcohol content above 0.10 when administered in a standardized manner. The horizontal gaze nystagmus test, which Officer Maduro is conducting, was found to be 77% accurate when implemented alone, and has since been reaffirmed by multiple other research groups. In the nystagmus test, officers ask the suspect to follow a stimulus, usually a pen or a finger, with their eyes only. The officer will attempt to detect the presence of a nystagmus, which is an involuntary jerking of the eye when the suspect looks to the periphery. This becomes more pronounced under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
Keep your head still. Follow my pen. You're not doing what I'm asking you. Do you understand the directions I gave you?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to look forward, keeping your head still. Follow my pen with your eyes and your eyes only. Tilt your head straight. There you go. You're not following my pen.
I follow.
You're not.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to give you one more opportunity to do this exercise, okay?
I do.
Look at my pen.
Follow.
Look at my pen,
Yeah, I look at it.
okay? And you're going to follow it with your eyes only, keeping your head still, looking forward. Do you understand? You're not doing what I'm asking you. Do you not understand the instructions I provided you?
I'm follow. Yeah, your pen, my eyes.
You're not. You're looking away. You're moving your eyes on your own accord. You're not following my pen. I'm going to give you one more opportunity to do the exercise, and then I'm going to take you to jail based on the information I've already seen. So if you'd like to complete my exercises, we can do so. Okay? Otherwise, I'm going to base my decision on taking you to jail today on what I've already seen. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm giving you one more opportunity to follow my instructions. Stand with your feet together, hands by your side. Look at the tip of my pen. You're going to follow with your eyes and your eyes only, keeping your head still, looking forward.
Faster.
I'm going to do it at the speed that I'm supposed to, okay? We're doing this, you're following my pen, not me following your eyes. You understand? Keep following my pen. Keep your eyes on my pen.
Yes.
Look at my pen.
I'm tired.
Okay. All right. We're gonna move on to the next exercise.
First, I wait for my appointment.
Okay.
First,
Right now, that's not my problem. My problem is to make sure that you're safe to drive. Okay.
I tell you, 46 years I never have accident or ticket.
What I want you to do is we're going to use this line for this next exercise. Stand right there facing this way. Stand right there and face that way. Natalia, stand right here. Right here where I'm standing.
Here.
No, I want you to stand right here. And face that way.
Okay.
Okay? Take your left foot and put it on this line.
The second most accurate field sobriety test is the walk and turn test, which consists of a series of 9 heel-to-toe steps and is designed to test both the suspect's balance and ability to follow directions. The NHTSA's independent research team determined that the walk and turn test was 68% accurate alone, and when combined with the nystagmus test, rendered an accuracy rating of 80%. While there are some field sobriety tests outside of the NHTSA's guidelines which officers often use, such as the finger-to-nose tests, reciting the alphabet or counting backwards, and balancing while standing with your feet together, head back, and eyes closed, those tests are typically not admissible in a courtroom. In the 2000 Ohio State Supreme Court case of State v. Homan, the court held that field sobriety tests conducted in a manner that departs from the methods established by the NHTSA are inherently unreliable, and concluded that sobriety tests must be performed in strict compliance with the directives issued by the NHTSA. This conclusion varies from state to state and is not a concrete defense against a DWI charge. However, many courts have struck down cases where the officer deviated from the NHTSA guidelines.
Take your left foot and put it on this line. Like this. Put your foot on that line. Okay, stay right there. Take your right foot and put it in front of that left one like this. On the line. Put your hands at your side.
Listen, yeah, I'm tired.
Are you going to complete the exercise?
I'm tired.
Okay, I don't care if you're tired right now. My job is to make sure that you're safe to drive.
What's your name?
I'm going to tell you one more time. I'm going to give you the instructions to the exercise one more time. Put your left foot on that line. Put your right foot in front of that left, like such. And put your hands at your side. You're going to stay like that until I tell you to begin. Do you understand? Okay. When I tell you to start, you're going to take a series of 9 heel-to-toe steps, counting out loud, looking down at your foot. 9 heel-to-toe steps on this line. It's going to look like such.
Listen. Where you work?
I work for the city of Cape Coral.
Cape Coral. I don't see Cape Coral and find you.
You're not free to leave. Are you going to complete the exercise?
I'm tired.
I don't care if you're tired. Are you going to complete the exercise?
Care?
I'm
You
asking
don't
you.
care?
I'm asking you to complete exercises to determine whether or not
For
you're
what?
safe to drive.
I failed. Drive very fast. Safe.
Are you going to complete the exercises? If not, I'm going to take you to jail based on what I've already seen. Are you going to continue?
Okay.
Put your left foot in front of your right. Put your hands down by your side. When I tell you to begin, you're going to take 9 heel-to-toe steps on this line, counting out loud.
Like this.
When I tell you to begin, stand how I told you to start. Stay like that until I tell you to begin. When I tell you to begin, take 9 heel-to-toe steps like such. 1, 2, 3. Again, counting out. Stand where I told you to stand. I'm not going to play this game anymore.
Are you kidding?
Hey. Relax, okay?
Are you kidding?
It's okay, ma'am. It's okay. Don't tense up, okay? Don't tense up.
Relax. Do not turn around.
You can't do it. Okay?
Yeah, you can do that.
Because you say ridiculous. Stand up, ridiculous. What are you doing?
You're going to jail. You're under arrest. Yeah. She won't follow any instructions. Told her to put the car in park multiple times. She had the car in reverse. She tried to argue. Asked her to put. Stay back there. I'll come explain it.
This is my mother.
I don't care. Stand back
You gotta
there.
stay back. You gotta listen. Follow our
Do
instructions.
not touch me, sir.
Then stand back there and I'll come explain it to you in a minute.
I don't want to have
Are you recording? Are you arresting my mother? I'm asking you a question.
Stand right here. Don't resist. Relax. Relax. If you kick me, I'm going to add additional charges. Relax.
What are you doing?
You're under arrest.
Officer Maduro arrests Miss Rosettes and places her in the back of his patrol car and makes contact with her son, Eugene Fedorovich.
We moved from 2 houses into 1 so she can be under control. But she can perfectly drive.
What does that mean, being under control? She needs to be under control.
Well, sometimes she needs to be watched over. She's, because we moved in together. I make sure she can drive okay. She's drive fine. But please don't take her away. If she's gonna die, that's a possibility. She's on medication. Please don't take her. Okay? This is, pretend this is your mother. This is my mother. Okay?
I understand. I totally understand that.
I'm going to be calling attorneys.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
You have every right to do so.
Oh, you guys have no idea. You'll never leave a court.
I will
God
give you
forbid.
I will give you my supervisor's information as well. You could talk to her right
You
now.
cannot take her to jail.
Okay,
You cannot.
hold on. For one, explain to me her situation.
She is not under any influence. She might be on.
That wasn't my question. What you're saying that she has
What does she
difficulties?
do?
I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. Okay. Does she take medications?
Yes.
What does she take?
She take blood pressure. She's got the whole 9. I can hold on a second. Could you please release her hands? She's not violent. Unbelievable. I'm calling my wife. She knows all the medication. Do you need a list of
I don't need that
medication?
right now. Just tell me.
She's on blood pressure medication. Maybe they gave her something there. She struck someone on the way here.
Correct. That's what we got called out here for, was that she was involved in an accident in the parking lot.
Over here?
Over here.
Where? No, this is an old one.
Okay. Well,
That's an old one. That's not.
we have a witness that says that they noticed it.
This is an old one. I can assure you. She did that a long time ago.
Okay. If you give me an opportunity, I'm trying to explain it to you. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
We got called here for an accident. Witnesses say that they watched her hit another vehicle in the parking
Where's
lot.
the vehicle?
If you give me an opportunity to explain, I'll tell you the whole situation,
Go
okay?
ahead.
The vehicle was parked over there where I'm parked now. Your mother pulled into the parking lot next to them, or parking spot next to them, struck that vehicle, and continued here. She then got out of the vehicle and went inside and continued her business in there until she came back out here, okay? When I got here, I was called here by this officer based on concerns from the staff inside that she was impaired,
This
okay?
guy with tattoos? He's an officer?
He's one of our civilian officers, yes. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
He was called here to investigate the crash. He called me because of the concerns that were voiced by the staff on her behavior and her speech and things like that.
What
and concerns.
behavior? What is she, violent?
I'm trying to explain it to you if you give me the opportunity.
You get to the point because here keep.
Well, you want all the facts as to why she's in handcuffs in the back of my car now. I'm trying to explain that to you.
What did she do?
Okay. When I got here, she attempted to put the car in reverse and refused to listen to me telling her to put the car in park because she was not free to leave. At that point, I gave her strict commands to put the car in park. She reached up to put the car in park, but actually turned on the windshield wipers and then reached down and actually put the car in neutral, took her foot off the brake, the car started moving backwards, at which point I told her, you're not in park. She put the car in drive, drove forward, and then finally, after the third attempt, put the car into park, okay? I then asked her to step out of the vehicle so I can investigate further, okay, as to her impairment. Her speech is slurred. She's slow to respond to questions. These behaviors that she's presented by not doing as I instructed and doing...
Because you scared her, of course, you know.
Okay.
She's 80 years old woman. After she had a stroke, she had a broken hip. She's from hospital to a hospital. She cannot be arrested. She needs to go home. She didn't do anything. She's not violent. I can assure.
Are you saying that we should have let her drive away?
No. I'm going to take her home. She's not going to drive. She's not going to drive till she's going to be off the medicine.
Okay.
Please let me take her home.
The other part of this was that I asked her to do some exercises to determine whether or not she was impaired. She refused to do them. Okay, the little bit that she did do shows me that she probably is impaired.
Yes, maybe
probably by her medication, which means she's not safe. She's not safe to drive.
She's not safe to drive.
Okay.
I agree with you.
And that all stems from the fact that she had an accident in the parking lot here.
Yeah,
so she shouldn't have been driving in the first place.
Yeah, she's not going to drive. I assure you that. Please.
Okay.
Where's the other vehicle, though? We're going to take care of that.
The other vehicle's gone.
Why?
They didn't even know that they were involved in an accident.
Do they have any damage? Because this is an old damage.
I don't know. I was not here for the accident investigation.
Yeah, because if they left, they didn't have any damage. I mean, we have an insurance. We have lawyers. We are strong lawyers, and we know that. We know if anything is going to happen, one phone call, everything's going to be taken care of. We live right around the corner.
Okay. I still have a job to do.
But you can't. You're not going to take her, are you? You cannot take her.
From what I've seen, she's impaired. She should not be driving.
She's not impaired.
Okay, that's not the determination for you to make.
Listen, are you ready to face the judges? Are you ready to that? I think you know. You are too young for that, sir.
This is not my first DUI, so don't try and claim mine.
She's not drinking. She's not.
I'm not going to sit here and debate it with you.
She's not drunk. Are you out of your mind?
Impairment doesn't necessarily mean alcohol. As I've already explained, I don't believe she's impaired.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
So she should not be driving.
All states have per se DUI laws which prohibit driving with a certain amount of alcohol in your system, and some states also have per se DUI laws that make it illegal to operate a vehicle with a certain concentration of drugs in your blood. But there is a second type of DUI charge that's based on actual impairment rather than the measured amount of drugs or alcohol in the driver's body. Impairment DUI laws focus on the effects that the ingested substance had on the driver and not necessarily what the substance was or how much of it was in the driver's system. To prove an impairment DUI at trial, the prosecution needs to show that the driver was under the influence or intoxicated as defined by state law. Some states require proof that the driver was substantially affected, while in other states, evidence of any effect is good enough. A driver who is arrested for a DUI based on prescription drug use may have a limited defense, but a handful of states will let drivers off the hook if they can show that they were impaired as a result of taking a prescription medication as prescribed by a licensed physician. Under Florida Vehicle Code 316.193, being in actual physical control of a vehicle means that the driver is in or on the vehicle and has the capability to operate it, and a motorist can be convicted of a DUI even if they are not actually driving. Code 316.193 also covers drugs which are medicinally viable but cause impairment to the driver. Mr. Fedorovich testified to the fact that Ms. Rosette's was on medication and that it may have been the cause of her perceived impairment.
Maybe.
Okay.
But the doctor
so you
says
know
she
that.
can. Okay.
So you know that. So why is she driving?
I didn't know when she left though.
Okay, so the blame is not on us. The blame is on you if you allowed her to drive knowing she's not supposed to.
She's not drunk. She's not.
Okay, let me ask you this.
She's under medication.
Let me ask you.
Continue taking.
Let me ask you this one
blood
question.
pressure might go high up, and she will die.
Let me ask you this one
that,
question.
Sir, you don't want to go to jail. Trust me, you don't go to jail for that. God forbid something happened to my mother. I will not leave you alone for the rest of your life.
Let me ask you this one question, okay?
You have to understand that.
Let's say your mother...
We're going to take everything you have. My attorney is going to chew you up.
Okay. I suggest you don't make threats,
okay?
My mother.
It's
not up to you.
It's not a threat.
It's not up to you.
It's a statement.
Okay. It's not up to you.
You can record that.
Right.
You can put your cameras on.
Right.
I don't really care.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Let's say we let your mom drive out of here without
investigating. She's not going to drive.
Listen to me for 1 second. Let's say we allowed your mom to drive out of here without determining whether or not she was impaired. Let's say we did a simple crash investigation. We ignored the concerns that they voiced about her being impaired. We let her drive out of here without determining impairment. Let's say she pulls onto veterans and runs a red light and hits and kills somebody or kills herself because she was impaired. Then whose fault is it?
According to the Pew Research Center, 40% of officers believe that the public does not understand the risks that they face while on the job at all, while 45% of members of the public said that they understand the risks police take somewhat well. Still, a majority of officers said that they feel a sense of pride in doing their work. Officer Maduro makes an excellent point on the duality of police duties versus the public's expectations of police. Oftentimes, police officers have to make difficult decisions while in the field, and many times it is both convenient and respectable for officers to defer to a rigid interpretation of the law to carry out their duties. This deference attracts varying degrees of criticisms based on the circumstances. The public often criticizes police for not doing their job properly whenever they fail to follow the appropriate protocol, but also criticizes police for not exercising discretion when they enforce the law as it is written. This interaction is a testament to the difficult balance that police officers are expected to maintain between enforcing the law and securing positive public relations. Both allowing Ms. Rosette's to drive away, possibly under the influence of imperative medication, and arresting Ms. Rosette's for a DUI to prevent further safety risks present potential backlash from the public. It wasn't until Mr. Fedorovich arrived on the scene that officers were presented with the third option of releasing Ms. Rosette's to her son.
Then would you be upset because she got in an accident and killed herself or killed somebody else?
I have a vehicle. I'm going to
I understand that,
I need to take her
but
home.
we're beyond that point.
We know that.
She's not going to drive.
Absolutely.
We're
We know
going to leave
that,
the car right here.
We know that, sir.
She's got driver's. Have you seen her driver's license?
Her driver's license is right here, yeah.
Okay, so she's got valid driver's license.
Okay, but that still
She's got
doesn't.
she's got valid insurance. She's got everything she needs.
That still does not
She's
ignore
not
the fact
drunk.
that she's
You're
impaired.
making a false statement.
I'm not. Based on
There's
my
no
training and
false statement, sir.
experience, your mother is impaired and should
Listen,
not be driving a
Listen,
vehicle.
we're doing our job. We're taking our responsibility.
Well,
we take
you
really
cannot
serious.
take her to jail.
Listen.
It's ridiculous. You guys on the wrong. Go arrest criminals.
call Sergeant
There's all over the place. There's a criminal zone. There's a drug dealer. What are you doing?
Officer Maduro returns to his patrol vehicle and calls his sergeant for orders on how to proceed. After a brief conversation, Officer Maduro releases Miss Rosette's, and Mr. Fedorovich agrees to take his mother home and return with his wife to pick up the vehicle. No charges were filed against Miss Rosette's. I personally spoke with Mr. Fedorovich on the phone, and he said that Miss Rosette's was medically evaluated a few days after this interaction and was cleared and released. Following this interaction, Mr. Fedorovich allegedly visited the Cape Coral Police Department to file a complaint against the officers involved, but was threatened with arrest and forced to leave. Mr. Fedorovich also claims that he intends to file a lawsuit against the department, but is having difficulty finding legal representation. Overall, Officer Maduro gets a B- because although he was somewhat rude and indifferent, he ultimately released Miss Rosette's to her son and did not press charges against her. Officer Maduro did have enough evidence to warrant the arrest of Miss Rosette's, and based on the video, Miss Rosette certainly could have posed a safety concern if she had been allowed to drive away from the incident. It is difficult to fault Officer Maduro for concluding that Miss Rosette should be charged with a DUI, given that he followed the protocol that he was trained to adhere to, but his overall candor could be improved. Ultimately, Officer Maduro made the right choice by releasing Miss Rosette's, but this interaction exemplifies the need for legislation requiring officers to undergo more thorough medical training and to consider the overall health and medical conditions of the suspects they interact with. I cannot assign an appropriate grade to Miss Rosette's, given that there are many factors which could have influenced her decision making and lack of awareness. Whether Miss Rosette's was under the influence of prescribed medication or suffering from a medical condition is unknown, and it is entirely unfair to render a judgment based on uncertainties. I sincerely hope that Miss Rosette's recovers from the physical and mental turmoil of this interaction and her previous medical ailments. Mr. Fedorovich also gets a B- because although it is extremely difficult to remain calm under these circumstances, Mr. Fedorovich made idle threats and gave the officers information that would aid them in their case against his mother. It is likely that the emotional anxiety of this interaction motivated Mr. Fedorovich to act erratically, but it is important to remain calm and think clearly when interacting with the police, and to refrain from making legal threats, as that does not translate well into a courtroom. If you must engage with police officers, it is also important to create a dialogue that is rational and understanding without divulging incriminating information. Mr. Fedorovich's biggest mistake was failing to maintain the delicate balance of providing officers with relevant and important information while asserting the innocence of his mother. Let us know if there's an interaction or legal topic you would like us to cover in the comments below. Be sure to check out our Patreon for more ad-free, uncensored, and exclusive episodes. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more police interaction content.